Claro, aquí esto texto puro para copiar. Let me ask you a question. And I want you to be brutally, uncomfortably honest with yourself. How did you get here, watching this video? I don't just mean the click that brought you to this page. I mean, do you remember the last 5 minutes of your life with clarity? Do you remember the precise sequence of thoughts that led you here? Do you remember the taste of your last meal? The feeling of the water on your skin in the shower this morning? Or did you just arrive? Did your body simply go through the motions while your mind was lost somewhere in the fog of yesterday's anxieties or tomorrow's plans? Or perhaps nowhere at all? According to a deeply controversial and enigmatic 20th century mystic named George Ivanovich Gurdjieff, if you cannot answer that with absolute, unwavering certainty, you weren't really there. He would not say you were distracted. He would say you were asleep, and that you exist in this state of slumber for almost the entirety of your life. G.I. Gurdjieff was not a typical philosopher. He was a spiritual teacher, a composer, an explorer of the human psyche who spent decades traveling through remote parts of Central Asia, the Middle East, and Africa, searching for what he called ancient wisdom. He sought out monasteries and secret brotherhoods, convinced that a practical, powerful knowledge of human potential had been lost to the modern world. And after his long search, he returned to the West with a terrifying conclusion. He stated plainly and without apology that man as we know him is not a conscious being. He is not, as we presume, the master of his own house. He called us machine men, robots made of flesh and blood, running on complex, pre-installed programs. Now, your initial reaction to that term is probably offense. But Gurdjieff didn't mean it as an insult. He meant it as a clinical diagnosis, a wake-up call from a profound, lifelong slumber. The title of this video isn't just clickbait. It is the most important and fundamental question he believed a person could ever ask themselves. Are you asleep? In this video, we're going to unpack this shocking idea. We will explore what it truly means to be a machine, why we are condemned to this state, and most importantly, we will uncover the very first practical step Gurdjieff offered to begin the arduous process of waking up. So, what does Gurdjieff mean, precisely, when he calls us a machine? Think about a simple vending machine. You press button B4, and a specific snack comes out. Every single time. There's no choice, no deliberation, no conscious will involved. It's a purely mechanical reaction to a specific stimulus. Gurdjieff argued that we operate in exactly the same way. We don't act. We react. Someone pays you a compliment, the input, and your emotional center mechanically produces a pleasant flutter of pride, the output. Someone criticizes your work, input, and your intellectual center instantly generates a script of defensive arguments, while your emotional center produces a surge of anger, output. You see a political headline you disagree with, and a pre-programmed package of outrage, complete with opinions you didn't create, but merely absorbed, runs automatically. You are not choosing these reactions. They are happening to you. This is the essence of the human machine. It lives on autopilot. Gurdjieff taught that it operates through three main centers. The intellectual center, our thoughts, the emotional center, our feelings, and the moving center, our physical actions and instincts. In the sleeping man, these centers are unbalanced, uncoordinated, and work automatically. One center will hijack the others, leading to our constant internal chaos. Even more, to prevent us from seeing this horrifying mechanicalness, the machine has a built-in safety feature Gurdjieff called buffers. Buffers are mental shock absorbers that prevent you from seeing your own contradictions. They allow you to believe you are a person of integrity while acting dishonestly. They allow you to believe you are compassionate while feeling contempt. They are the mechanisms that whisper, "It's different this time," or "He deserved it," ensuring the machine can continue to run smoothly without the jarring realization of its own nature. You are a collection of habits and reflexes, protected by a wall of self-deception. Masquerading as a conscious individual, you might be thinking, "This isn't me. I am the exception. I make my own choices." But do you? Or do you choose from a pre-approved menu that was handed to you at birth? From the moment we are born, we are being programmed. We are taught what to believe, how to behave, what to desire, and even how to feel. Society, in order to function, requires predictability. It needs cogs for its vast machinery, predictable workers, predictable consumers, predictable voters. It cannot function with truly conscious, unpredictable individuals. This programming creates what Gurdjieff called our personality. It is an artificial mask, a construct of absorbed opinions, beliefs, and habits. It is not the real you. Our own biology aids this process. To conserve energy, the brain is a master of efficiency. It creates neural shortcuts habits for everything. Driving a car, typing on a keyboard, your morning routine, even your standard emotional responses. Think of a river carving a canyon in the earth. The first time the water flows, a path is weak. But over years of repetition, the canyon becomes so deep that the river has no choice but to follow it. Our habits are these canyons carved into our psyche. This biological efficiency comes at a terrible cost. Consciousness. We are under a kind of cultural and biological hypnosis. We mistake these programmed routines for our real personality. We mistake the voice of our conditioning for our own inner voice. Gurdjieff's shocking point is that the real you, what he called your essence, the unique and conscious being you were born with the potential to become, is buried deep, deep beneath the layers of this automatic, conditioned personality. Okay, this all sounds incredibly bleak. Robots, machines, hypnosis, a prison without walls. If that is the diagnosis, what is the cure? This is the most crucial part of Gurdjieff's entire message. He was not a nihilist. He did not just point out the prison. He spent his life teaching how to forge the key. He taught that while we are born as machines with only the possibility of becoming conscious, this potential is never actualized by accident. It requires work, hard, intentional, moment-to-moment work. And the very first step, the foundation of all this fourth way work, is a practice he called self-observation. Let's be very clear. Self-observation is not self-analysis, which is just the machine thinking about itself. It's not self-improvement, which is the machine trying to install a better program. And it is absolutely not self-judgment, which is just another one of the machine's favorite, most useless programs. It is simply to watch, to observe yourself impartially, as if you were a scientist observing a fascinating, strange, and utterly predictable creature, without trying to change anything, without labeling it good or bad. You simply notice, there is a wave of anger arising in me because of that comment. Oh, my thoughts are now worrying about an event tomorrow that may never happen. Look, my body is walking down the street, but my mind is 1,000 miles away, replaying an old argument. This simple, detached act of noticing is the alarm clock. It's the first crack of light in the dark room. Why? Because the one who is observing the machine cannot be the machine. In that moment of pure observation, you have created a separation. A tiny spark of true consciousness has appeared. Theory is utterly useless without practice. This is not entertainment. It is work. So I want to give you a simple, concrete task to perform between now and our next video. This is your first attempt to wake up. Choose one, and only one, small, routine action that you do every single day. It could be brushing your teeth. It could be making your coffee or tea. It could be walking from your front door to your car or putting on your shoes. for the entire duration of that single simple act. You must try to do what Gurdjieff called self-remembering. This means you bring your entire attention to the act, while simultaneously being aware of yourself doing it. You divide your attention, part on the action, part on the awareness of I am here. Now, if you're brushing your teeth, feel the bristles on your gums. Taste the mint, hear the sound. Feel your feet planted firmly on the floor. And at the same time, remember, I am here brushing my teeth. Your mind will wander. That is an absolute guarantee. The machine does not want to be observed. It will pull you back into sleep, into thoughts about work, your to-do list, that thing someone said yesterday. Your job is not to fight the mind or stop it from wandering. That is impossible. Your job is simply to notice when it has wandered, and gently, without any judgment or frustration, bring your attention back. Back to the coffee, back to the toothbrush, back to the present moment, back to the awareness of I am. That's it. That is the beginning of the work. The simple, repeated act of noticing you were lost and returning. Gurdjieff's wake-up call is not meant to be comfortable. It is designed to be a profound shock to your entire system. The purpose of today was not to make you feel bad about being asleep. It was to let you know, perhaps for the first time, that there is a genuine, tangible alternative. The journey of waking up is the most challenging, the most demanding, and ultimately, the most rewarding endeavor a human being can possibly undertake. It is the beginning of breaking your allegiance with a false reality to find a true one. So, try the exercise. Just for that one. Small action once a day. And in the comments below, I'd love for you to share what you noticed. Not if you succeeded or failed. Those are words of the machine. But what did you observe? What program did your machine run to pull you away? What did it feel like for even a second to try? This is just the first step. If today was the alarm clock, our next video explores what happens in those first few disorienting moments after it rings. We'll talk about the shock and fear of seeing your own mechanicalness in action, and we will identify the powerful psychological forces that will immediately try to pull you back to sleep. Until then, try to wake up. V.